Good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome back to YouTube classes. So today in science, we will do chapter number 10, measurement. So this is the topic, chapter number 10, measurement. Children, I already introduced the chapter and we have done the explanation of half of the chapter already. But before continuing, let us recap the topics which we already have discussed. First of all, the definition of term measurement. Measurement is the process of finding the size or quantity of an item or material. So, it is the process of finding the size. Size is length or quantity of an item or material. Quantity can be measured as mass for solids and capacity for liquids. So measurement is the process of finding the size or quantity of an item or material. Then we discussed about the definition of unit. As you can see, unit is a fixed quantity used as a standard of measurement. Because we need the fixed quantity to measure anything, whether it is length, mass, capacity, time or temperature. We need the standard or fixed unit to measure different things. Like we discussed in this activity, we need fixed units as well as the instruments or tools are required to measure anything. So in this chapter, we will basically focus on two aspects. One is the units of measurement and second is the instrument to measure different things. So units and instruments we will discuss one by one to various different quantities like length, mass, capacity, time and temperature. Like in this activity, as you can see, the various instruments are shown. You just have to identify the instruments. The first one is scale. The second, thermometer, which is used to measure the body temperature. Third is clock, which is used to measure or see the time. So these are the basic three instruments which we use in our daily life to measure different things. After that, you can see the various tools of measurement. Tools, or you can say instruments. And these tools, children, you can observe that we use in our daily life. First is the tools to measure length. You can see here ruler, that is the scale which is there in your geometry box, meter stick and tape measure, that is the measuring tape, which is also known as inch tape in common language. So ruler, meter stick or meter rod and the measuring tape are the instruments to measure length which we use in our daily life. Then the instruments to measure mass. You can see here foot scale, balance scale and simple scale. The reading one is given here. Commonly, children, we use the measuring balance or the weighing machine, and different kind of measuring balance or weighing machines are there, which we will discuss further. Then to measure time, we can use timer, calendar, clock, wall clock or wristwatch to measure time. So this way we use different kind of tools or instruments to measure length, mass or time in our daily life. Now here you can focus the main types of measurement which we are going to discuss in the chapter. We will study about length, mass, volume. Instead of volume, capacity term is given in your book. Time and temperature. So these are the 5 different types of measurement which we will study one by one. The first one is length, second mass, third volume or capacity, fourth time, and fifth temperature. In this different types of measurement, we need to focus on the units and the tools used. That means the units to measure these type quantities and the instruments to measure. Then we can observe that what is the use or practical application of measurement in our daily life. Children, we use this term measurement, or we measure different things in our daily life. Like for example, a few are given here in your book also, which you can relate with your daily life. We can measure the length of a line with a scale. You use ruler or scale in your daily life. We measure the length of a piece of cloth, or the length of the bed sheet, or the length of the curtain with the measuring tape or inch tape. Even we measure our height using the measuring tape or inch tape. Then we measure the mass of the solid objects or materials like fruit, vegetables, cereals, pulses, sugar by the weighing machine. Or we can also weigh ourselves, means we can measure our weight by using the weighing machine. Then we measure time with a wristwatch or a wall clock. Then we measure the volume or the capacity of water or milk, oil, juice, various types of liquids with the measuring cylinder or measuring jar. Children, the term volume or capacity is basically used for the liquids only. So we say mass for solid and capacity for liquids. Then we measure our body temperature with the thermometer. You must have observed that whenever you have fever, then your mother used the thermometer to measure the body temperature. So these are the practical applications or the use of measurement in our daily life. Now here given, as I discussed with you just now, that we need the fixed quantities to measure, fixed units to measure different things in our daily life. And these fixed units are known as standard units of measurement. Children, you already have done the measurement topic in your previous class 3 in mathematics, where you have done measurement of length, measurement of mass, measurement of time, measurement of capacity, and you also have done the conversion of units of length, mass and capacity. So you are aware of these terms and mainly the units. So these are the standard or fixed units to measure different things like length. Meter is the standard unit to measure length. Capacity, liter. Time, second. Mass, kilogram. Temperature, degree Celsius or degree Fahrenheit. So these are the standard units or the fixed units to measure length, capacity, time, mass and temperature. I repeat, meter is the standard unit of length, liter is the standard unit of capacity, second is the standard unit of time, kilogram is the standard unit of mass, and degree Celsius or degree Fahrenheit is the standard unit of temperature. Now we will discuss these different quantities one by one. that is length, capacity, time, mass and temperature. First of all, length. Now students, when in earlier time, when the standard units were not there, different instruments were not there to measure length or mass. So in earlier time, people used to measure the length of an object using their body parts. That is the hand span, cubit or foot span. So these are the body parts which the people used to measure the length in earlier times. Like you can see here, first of all, this is the hand span. You can see the distance between the tip of the thumb and the tip of the last little finger is your hand span. You can use hand span to measure the length of the table, whether it is your study table, center table or dining table. Then next is cubit. This is the cubit. The distance between your elbow till the tip of the middle finger is cubit. You can use cubit to measure the length of the door or bed or any wall. You can use cubit. Then the third one is foot span. Foot span, the size of your foot. You can use foot span to measure the length of your room. So these are these three: hand span, cubit and foot span. Actually these are the non-standard units to measure the length. Why, children? Because these body parts or these non-standard units will not give the correct measurement. Why so? Because some people have smaller or bigger hands, arms and feet than others. Obviously, for example, you measure the length of the table with your hand span. For example, it is 6 hand span. And then you can ask your father or mother to measure the length of the table using their hand span. As the size of the body parts, or you can say the arms and legs, of the size of the arm and leg of your father or mother is bigger than that of yours. So obviously the measurement will be different. It will vary. If for example the length of table is 6 hand span of yours, but it will be 3 or 4 hand span of your father or mother. Why so? Because some people have bigger arms, hand, feet than others, because our body size vary. That's why these are known as the non-standard units to measure length, which people used in earlier time. Like I'll show you here the ancient instrument and the modern instrument. You can see here very carefully ancient and modern instruments. So ancient instrument have footstep, you can say foot span, rope were also used to measure the length, hand span, arm length which we call as cubit. So these are the ancient instruments to measure length, but these were non-standard. They cannot give the correct measurement. And the modern instruments like ruler, measuring tape, screw gauge, vernier caliper. Children, these two terms, screw gauge and vernier caliper, are not there in your book. So the modern instruments to measure length are meter rod, measuring tape, or your ruler or scale. So these are the ancient instrument and these are the modern instrument to measure length. So when we discuss about the length, hand span, cubit or foot span, these are the ancient instruments, or you can say the non-standard units to measure length, which will not give the correct or accurate measurement, because the size of the arm and feet, or you can say the arm and leg, vary from person to person. After that, nowadays we have the fixed or standard units to measure length, mass, capacity, temperature and time. So now we will study only about the standard or fixed units and the instruments. This is the activity which I just now explained to you. You will do this activity with the help of your parents. After that, about the length. Now we need to discuss about the fixed or standard units to measure length. Now look here carefully. The three main units to measure length are centimeter, meter and kilometer. 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeter, 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter and 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meter. This is the relationship. So, the basic units to measure length are millimeter, centimeter, meter and kilometer. Just see here, meter, centimeter, millimeter and kilometer. These are the four main units to measure length. Next is the instruments to measure length. Meter rod, measuring tape and scale, or you can say ruler, scale or ruler. These are the main instruments to measure length. So we just now discussed about the units and instruments to measure length. Now this activity which is given in your book, we already have discussed this activity, children. Name the unit of length that you use to measure the length of a cloth. Meter. Distance between two cities. Kilometer. Length of a pencil. Centimeter. Thickness of a pencil lead. Millimeter. So we use different units to measure length. Millimeter and meter are used to measure very short length, and kilometer is used to measure the long distances. After that, how to use scale and measuring tape, you all know very well. Then the precautions which we need to take while using the scale. You can see here these two figures, that do not place the scale at an angle and do not place the scale at a distance you are measuring. So these two types are the wrong way to measure the length using scale. So this is the activity which is given in your book. This is your homework. You have to measure the length, the sides of these figures, and then you need to find out their sum and write down the sum in the given space. So children, today we discussed about the length, the basic units and instruments to measure length. I'll just recap what I have discussed today in today's class. First of all, we discussed this activity, various instruments to measure in our daily life, which we use in our daily life. Then the ancient instruments and modern instruments to measure length. Then the measurement tools to measure length, mass and time. After that, the units and tools of measurement, measuring length, mass, volume, that is capacity, time and temperature. Then we discussed about the definition of measurement and unit. Measurement is the process of finding the size or quantity of an item or material. And unit, a fixed unit, a unit is a fixed quantity used as a standard of measurement. Then what are the standard units of measurement? Length, meter, capacity, liter, time, second, mass, kilogram, temperature, degree Celsius or degree Fahrenheit. Then which are the topic length. Then which are the non-standard or ancient instruments to measure length? Handspan, cubit and footspan. After that, the standard or fixed units to measure length. The 4 units are there: millimeter, centimeter, meter and kilometer. And then the instruments to measure length: meter rod, measuring tape and scale. So children, today we discussed about length only. In the next video, I'll explain rest of the topics, that is mass, capacity, time and temperature. So now let me give today's homework. Your homework is to read the chapter till the topic I explained. Underline the important terms, the same which I underlined you can see in this video. And then written work, children, you already have completed. So you need to just check the work, the written work, with the help of PDF which I'll share. Just check the written work, complete and check your written work. And learn the important terms, that is definitions. So this is your homework, children. Take care of yourself. Have a good day.